Animal Farm. Andy Serkis's animated adaptation of George Orwell's novel opened May 1st, 2026, distributed by Angel Studios, and pitched to its 1.6 million guild members as a cautionary tale about the dangers of communism. I'm the real-life Fake Wizard, and this is a Fake Wizard's review of Animal Farm. If this video brings you any value at all, hit the subscribe button, as we're posting lots of reviews every single week. This is the third film version of Animal Farm, with the first being a CIA-funded one in 1954 and a live-action puppet hybrid in 1999. The 1999 version is pretty haunting and handles the severity of the source material well. What we find today in 2026 is a near 15-year passion project from director Andy Serkis. Originally bound for Netflix, this film bounced through several production houses before finally landing at Angel Studios for its United States theatrical release and distribution. The voice cast is clearly where most of the budget went, with actors like Seth Rogen, Glenn Close, Kieran Culkin, Woody Harrelson, and Stranger Things alum Gaten Matarazzo in the cast. Matarazzo plays Lucky, a piglet protagonist invented for this version of the story because Orwell's version didn't need a stand-in character to keep telling the audience what they already knew, as Lucky will do from start to finish. The plot setup is that Manor Farm is being repossessed from a drunk farmer who has sold his livestock to Pilkington Industries for processing at the Laughter House. Snowball figures out the euphemism and leads the rebellion. The animals quickly take over, rename the farm, draft the 7 commandments, and immediately cut to the story the creatives actually want to tell, where the pigs go shopping and are introduced to the terrors of capitalism.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
To be clear, the movie races through critical points of the book, all within the first 20 to 25 minutes of screen time. From there, it spirals into an anti-cronyism and anti-capitalism story, resolving with a second rebellion on the basis of, and I can't believe I'm saying it, implying that the remaining animals are going to try communism once again. Part 1. Strip away every argument about what this film says politically, and you are left with a children's cartoon that expects you to be a moron. Every emotion is verbalized, every theme is restated by Woody Harrelson's boxer, narrating in a register so lullaby slow, it's as if he's trying to put you to sleep. When Napoleon turns on Snowball, which does happen in the book, another animal says, also out loud and also to no one, "He's turning on her." But it's like this through the whole movie. The movie uses dialogue as if it's some kind of closed captioning service. Boxer himself is miscast at the voice level. Harrelson reads a decade younger than the character is supposed to be, which guts the entire reason Boxer exists in the story. The whole point of Boxer as a character in the novel is that he's meant to represent dignity that is worn down by labor, and Harrelson plays it off as just too young to represent what the character is meant to be. The pacing is the same problem at scale. The revolution, that is the entire premise of the source material, is dispatched before you've finished your popcorn, because Stoller's script is in such a hurry to skip past Orwell and arrive at the editorializing underneath. Animal Farm spends 20 minutes adapting Animal Farm, another 30 minutes on slapstick TikTok fart joke humor, and the remaining 40 minutes adapting a series of TED Talks. Part 2. The middle of the film is where the editorializing just takes over. Pilkington, a new character for this iteration who looks like a stand-in for Elon Musk's mother, and also drives a not a Tesla Cybertruck, shows up to tempt Napoleon into a corporate alliance, and instead of dramatizing the seduction, Serkis just sends the pigs to a shopping mall. And they go on a shopping spree, and the pigs are trying on sunglasses and rampaging through department stores, while a banker explains how to make money. The metaphor of all of this, very simply, is that consumerism corrupts, and the way the film communicates that metaphor is by depicting consumerism. Just exactly how it appears. Then there is what I call the lighting move. As Napoleon's regime deepens, the film begins to literally dim the sun on Animal Farm. The entire movie gets darker as representation for capitalism creeping in. This is meant to be some kind of artistic expression, but it is so on the nose that it's hard to not notice. Now, part of the book, and really, this is the ending of the book here, is that the communist piggies are viewed through the window as indistinguishable from humans. The symbolism is that even though all the animals started out under the guise of communism, eventually the pigs became oppressors, just like the humans were before the animals rebelled. This is very important to the context and the finale of the book. The film then attempts to recreate this scene at the beginning of its third act, but instead of the animals looking in through the window and being unable to distinguish between pig or man, the film decides to depict a body horror transformation scene with the pigs walking upright and their bodies and faces all shift in and out from man and beast. Like it's some kind of Cronenberg grade unsettling reveal in a movie that Angel Studios told you was a kid's matinee. This movie doesn't know who it's for. It's animated as if it's for kids, but it's not. It's loaded with dated references and slapstick humor that just doesn't land. It's not even charming at all, and it's not trying to be. You, as an audience member, are not rooting for anyone. The movie refuses to actually acknowledge the story it's trying to tell because the source material is anti-communism, but the filmmakers are anti-capitalism. So you get this mishmash of conflicting storytelling that eventually resolves in an unsatisfying way. It's not good for kids. It's not good for adults. This movie should never have been released to the public. And yet, it gets worse. As I mentioned earlier, Lucky is the audience surrogate. He's the one questioning Napoleon, defending Snowball, asking inconvenient questions while the rest of the farm cheers the new regime. And then, in the third act, when Lucky returns to organize a counter-rebellion against Napoleon, the other animals turn on him and accuse him of, and this is a direct quote, having narcissistic personality disorder. The protagonist is psychiatrically diagnosed by the mob he came in to save. They go out of their way to shame him when he was the one trying to do right by them the whole time. It was the idiot animals that allowed all this to go down. Lucky is the only character with a consistent moral arc in the entire film. Every other animal on Animal Farm is either a coward or a sellout. All of these animals deserve to be eaten by humans, starting with the lamb chops. And that brings us to the conclusion of the film. Animal Farm, the novel, as I mentioned earlier, ends with the pigs and the humans seated together at the same table, their faces becoming indistinguishable. And the animals outside, looking in, are unable to tell which is which. That was the point of Orwell's book, that the revolution itself was the hijack, and the flaw of communism is that eventually the leadership charging the revolution becomes the next wave of oppressors. This film renders down to we just need better pigs next time. Lucky essentially defeats Napoleon, and that makes all the animals free again, with a final line about friends needing to take care of friends. And then the credits roll, and the cycle will seemingly continue, this time with Lucky as the would-be leader. This is the exact reading of Stalinism Orwell wrote the novel to refute. Angel Studios marketed this film to its 1.6 million guild members as a warning about the dangers of communism, and yet the film they actually shipped is a story in which communism would have worked, if not for one bad pig and one bad billionaire. Whatever your politics, it doesn't matter for this. This movie is an ugly, drab, boring film. Its messaging is obnoxious, and it will be regarded as one of the worst adaptations in all of history. Realistically, this should sink Angel Studios' stock price, and they deserve it for rug-pulling their guild members and their subscribing audience. For all the reasons above, Animal Farm renders itself a don't waste your time rating. If I could rate it lower than a 1 out of 10, I would. And that's all for Animal Farm, thank God. If this review brought you any value or you had a little fun, consider smashing the like button and subscribing to the channel. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire others to do so as well, and for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus.